Good morning, dear friends. My name is Kedar Sabni, and I'm going to talk to you today about a little different subject that is on basically autism. You're aware that in the month of April, the world celebrated Autism Acceptance Month in the month of April 21, and it is a very good initiative that the Autism Society of America has been promoting throughout the world, where we all come across what is the concept of autism, what are the symptoms, what are the things that actually go right, what are the things that we should look for, so on and so forth. And it is also important that it is a fact of life and everybody should accept the way it is. And I think it is our endeavor to make sure that we also create an awareness within our society about the concept of autism, and make sure that the people suffering with this particular disorder are also well accepted within the society, and we make sure that they don't feel out of place. So one of the initiatives that Yutika Buzz has done is we have interviewed a few parents as a part of this awareness drive, and I am very happy to introduce my neighbor and my friend Barshana and Shushmit, and of course their child Vivan to you today. And I think let us hear what it means to them, how is the life revolving around autism, and so on and so forth. The whole objective of this discussion and the video is basically let's create awareness and make them inclusive. Thank you so much.
Hey, hi, this is Shushmit,
Hi, this is Barshana.
and thank you for the opportunity to talk about autism today.
We are parents to a special kid or a differently abled kid, and we have received few questions from the community, so we are going to talk about that today. So the first question which came up is what is autism? How does someone get diagnosed? Sushmit, do you want to start?
Yes, sure. So, autism is not just one aspect or one single disease, it is a spectrum. So, whenever you see a child having autism, doctors or specialists they would generally call it as a autism spectrum disorder. And there are different kinds of abilities as well as disabilities that you may observe with a particular child who is having autism spectrum disorder. Also, a child who is on the autism spectrum disorder is unique in his or her own way. So, yeah, Bashana, would you like to add something?
Yeah, I could say that they might come with in a spectrum which might have different disorders. I would say we call it disorder, but it might be a slow learning process. It might be something which might develop maybe in the later stages of his life or her life. A child might be a non-verbal child, or a child might be having some sensory issues, some motor skills disabilities, I would say, which I think that's what we cannot really define autism as such because it's such a wide spectrum. So, I think different child have got different problems, and that is what we are going to talk about today. So the next question was how does someone get diagnosed? So uh, we know that the kids, they have got to achieve milestones which are already there with the pediatrician. We get a list of the milestones when we go for the checkup of the child or so, and we keep an eye if the child is actually achieving those at a particular age. So that might be something which can trigger the the possibility of a child having autism or not having so. So it is when the parents or when the teachers start noticing that the child is not behaving or not reaching the milestone which he or she is supposed to reach at a certain age. So that is when the concern arises. That is when the child has to go through a procedure or a evaluation, and thereafter we can understand like what is the level of autism the child is having actually.
Yes, so for example, in our case, our son was diagnosed at the age of about 3 years. So we were fine, means we did not notice anything different. Okay, however, when we went to the doctor called out his name multiple times. So he was not having eye contact, and he was not attentive in class. Then he also had sensory issues with loud noises. In fact, he still has. So they are able to hear very high frequencies. So, for example, a tube light. Okay, when the tube light is glowing or starting, there is a particular frequency that it emits. So, such children, they are able to pick up those sounds which other people are not able to, because in their mind somehow such sounds get amplified. So when that happens, they are not able to keep their calm. They don't know what to do, right? So those are the kinds of situations these kids go through. It's not their fault as such, but that's how their mind is wired. So these are the kind of issues that start happening at the early ages between 2 and 3 years, and that's when the doctors would recommend to go for diagnosis. And that is basically a list of evaluations. There's no single blood test that you can just do and say that okay, he has autism or he doesn't have autism.
On to the second question we have. What are the challenges faced by parents as well as kids? So this question, it's a very small question, but the answer is unfortunately not a short one. Um,
There are a lot of issues.
yeah, there's a lot of issues that goes on, and it's not a matter of a single day. Just it's not something that you just realize that, or you just got your kid evaluated that he is going through or he is in the spectrum of autism, but it starts much before that when the kid is not responding to certain things which a normal kid would do. I think the fight starts from there. The first thing which comes is to accept the fact that there is something wrong which is going on, or you can put it in a way like it's a very different perspective for the autistic kid. One of the school teachers, when my son went to the preschool, one of the school teachers, she discovered that this child is not listening to instructions, or he is not attentive at the class. So she gave some time to the kid, and it was almost 6 months that she was noticing some changes. And she called me, and she said that just we see this world in a particular way, but this kid of yours is just having a different vision to it. Maybe it's a different way that he is perceiving things, and it is absolutely fine. What we have to do is that we have to see the world just the way he sees it, or he perceives it. And I still remember that. So challenges, I would say that it's a little bit different from what a normal kid faces, or what the parents of a normal child faces. It's almost the same, but a little bit amplified. I would say that day to day normal routine, what we have to do, like getting up in the morning, brushing, and then washing the face, and drying, and then coming for the breakfast, sitting on the table. These small little things, I think it took a lot of time for us to, put it in an order. I would say that a autistic child is always very fond of his routine every day, and any small little thing which triggers this Maybe on days when the routine gets a little upset, it's really very gets very difficult to adjust or to make the child understand logically like what is wrong and why is this particular thing has changed for the day. So
So,
yeah.
just to add to it, what happens is like at a younger age, we would think that by the age 4 or 5, a kid would be pretty much self-independent, right? If he had a normal life. However, in our case, our kid is like he was about 8 9 years. At that age, also we had to repeat a lot of things for him. Okay, and as he was growing, every year was a different challenge because he had not only like things in his mind, but there were changes that were happening with his gut. Okay, so you must have heard about the gut feel, right? So basically, gut is also sometimes called a second mind, right? So that triggers certain kind of situations which such kids cannot anticipate, and they don't know how to express their discomfort as well, which creates a lot of problems. So for us also, it was all a learning because this is our only child, and we had to experience along with him the challenges he was facing, and it took us a long time, approximately 8 to 9 months, before we could find the right cure for that. And now as well, whenever he has those situations with his gut, it's a difficult day for him, and we have to like kind of bear the same kind of brunt along with him. So yeah, it's a gradual process. It takes a lot of time, and if you think that in the higher age, like if he is reached at age 9, perhaps he is still experiencing the challenges or the situation that a 3 or 4 year old child might be facing. So those are the things that are pretty common in such
Like you
cases.
have to keep on repeating and make him remember if in the middle he forgets his steps. And maybe you have to hand some information, I mean, some instruction with numbers on them or showing some pictures. Pictures help a lot, especially when your child is non-verbal. It triggers some words out of him as well. Giving choices is also another way of combating the day-to-day problems. I think you have to find out a way to communicate with your child. That's the most important thing. And I think we have realized it much later. We have tried various methods, to understand what he is looking for. As he's growing up, he is having his own wishes. He's having his own, decisions, I would say, and he is now choosing things. So for that, we had to, find out different ways, like how to, understand what he is actually trying to explain. Okay, so the third question is, how do you take care of a child and keep your moral high? I would say that it's same as that of a normal child, just a little bit amplified, as I said earlier. That a child from a very young age do not understand the instructions. So we had to go through several procedures. There is always this trial and error method going on, and that's how we need to see the safety of the child as well as the safety of other kids. So it's not that a child is an autistic child is not predictable. I wouldn't say that. Definitely, we can predict his behaviors well. After so many years, we definitely do that, and we can take some steps, when we see that maybe the child is getting annoyed or he is not liking where he is right now. We can just come back from that particular situation, or we can take a step back and we can calm him down, and then maybe we can again go and do the same thing, make him do the same thing. This is how you take care. I think there is nothing much to say, because I think the parents are already experiencing and they are taking the best possible care of their child. It's the same way what we also do the same thing. How to keep your moral high? We have a team. I would say we have each other, and we have our parents. Also, the teachers at the school. There are caregivers. I think their immense energy, their way of dealing with my child, understanding, having a one-to-one training at times. This is keeping our moral high, and I think when you see that your child is responding, your child is actually interacting with you, of when you see your efforts are really answering, I think that's when you get the strength of going on. So the fourth question is, what are your expectations from society towards your kids' behavior? I think you can say this.
So, autistic kids, okay, they do present certain behaviors which they cannot control. Okay, they could be jumping up and down, or they will be flapping their hands, or they could make certain types of sounds which may seem very weird. Okay, and then it is especially very strange when they are in a gathering or with many people, and some people would not understand that what is going on. Okay, and they will say that okay, it is funny, or they will try to understand, or they'll ask questions, but nothing can be done about it. It's just the child who has his discomforts, and he's trying to like wave it off by making such sounds, or doing some actions, which is kind of a balancing thing for him or her. So in such situations, generally we just have to be patient and let that child just be as it is. They'll try to blend in. They'll try to relax themselves somehow, and that's it. It just keeps going on. It may so also happen that the child may try get excited over certain kinds of things. For example, my son is very excited about machinery. So either it's the floor cleaning, or some car, or some bike. He'll try to observe that. He'll try to observe the wheel. So certain people, they don't realize that okay, why is he doing like that? But that's his nature. We have to just let him explore, as we let any other kid. Maybe they are a little bit younger, they'll explore. Okay, so that's their way of exploring and trying to understand the world a little bit more.
Yeah, but definitely if the child is destructive and he is causing some kind of, scratches anywhere on any expensive machinery or cars or bicycles which are parked, downstairs, I would say that it's solely the responsibility of the parent or whoever is the caregiver. Uh, we try our best that no such scenario should arise for any child. I wouldn't say this for only for my autistic kid, but any other kid shouldn't be having such kind of behavior or aggression. I think that isn't very healthy for the child as well, because he also might get hurt or she might get hurt. Um, our expectation is nothing, and I won't say that it's very wrong to use this word expectation. I just want to say that people should be aware of such kind of behavior, because we being parents to a autistic kid, we are aware of his behavior, like okay, he can jump on a spot, he can flap his hands, or he may shout or make some strange noises. But it's any other person who is coming or who is just watching him doing so might not feel that okay, like maybe something is wrong with the child. He might not be knowing how to react to it if he sometimes faces that. So yes, an awareness among the people, among this closed community would help the parents, the child himself, as well as the other people around to be a little bit more alert, and things should be. I don't think that there should be a problem if such kind of awareness is there among people. I think that will make things much more easier for everyone. So the fifth question is share experience, if any, good or bad. Honestly, we didn't have any bad experience in this community. I think everybody knows my kid. The security people, they know him, and they wave hand, and he responds, he sees, everybody knows his name. The shops which are located outside the community gate, I think they are pretty much aware of, and they know him, like, okay, this guy is going to come and he's going to find out things, and he knows where everything is kept. From this particular society, from this community, we didn't have any such bad experiences. Rather, the kids are friendly with my kid, I would say, and he never had any problem going to the basketball ground, basketball court, and playing with the other kids. Sometimes the kids, they try to explain him how to hold the ball and how to throw the ball at a particular direction. He might not be answering, he might not be reacting to it, but I think that he is.
He's following
He
them,
follows it, and
follows the
he
instructions.
likes it. He
Yeah.
likes it that somebody is coming up and talking to him. The other kids, maybe like most of the time, it's me or his dad talking to him and playing with him. But I think he also likes to interact with. Just that he doesn't know how to do it, or maybe he's not able to explain how to do it. But then when the kids come up to him and plays with him, he really likes it, and he enjoys it.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and you remember one thing, that the kids with the bicycle, and he has a fascination over the
calling the bells.
the bells, right? The sound, I guess. So he tries to find out what's the mechanism behind that. And one day I was walking with him, and he was trying to touch somebody else's bicycle, and he was trying to ring that thing. And I immediately said to him that please don't touch it, it's not yours, no touching, I said. So the other kid said that it's okay, just let him explore. So I think that was very sweet. I think the kids, they know it better. I think they are the ones
Absolutely.
who understands it really quick. I don't have to explain much.
Right.
Okay, the sixth question is message to others in case of such difficult situations.
So, yeah, autistic kids or kids on the spectrum generally, okay, most of the time they are unable to detect social cues, right? So, if, for example, if a certain person is not liking the surroundings beside him, they are not comfortable with the sounds, right? Think about in a way that okay, a normal person, if they are not able to adjust to a certain surrounding, how would they react, right? They would try to either move away from there, or they'll tell the other person saying that okay, calm down or something like that. Similarly, these kids, because not similarly, but what you would observe is that these kids do not have those social cues, and they are trying to adjust to certain things of their surroundings. So in such cases, the request to the other people is to just give them some space and let them adjust. Or if there is a huge amount of noise that is getting generated by something, try to see if that can be minimized, or let them just walk away from that for some time, and not to try and pull them back into that kind of gathering. Okay, so that way the kids they get some space, and they can just try to adjust to the situation that they're at that moment going through.
See, if it's not possible for the others to stop what they are doing, or if they are doing something really important, and it's creating some kind of noise or something which is really agitating or disturbing someone who is having autism, I would say that it's not possible for someone to stop the work. Maybe just relax your, or maybe change a little bit to bring in some small little changes that could help the other kid. And if you know that you have a neighbor who is having a special kid, or somebody who is sensitive to noise, or maybe light, or any other things which maybe the parents they have shared with you also, I would just request to understand that it really gets very difficult to calm them down at times because of that. So I hope that you be a little bit more empathetic and understanding to your neighbor and just help the kid, to calm down. I think that will be a great help.
We would appreciate that.
Yeah.
However, just so you know that um kids who have this kind of situation, we are always trying to help them understand and cope up with these situations at the same time.
Yes.
However,
Yes.
if there is an uncontrolled or an unplanned activity which they are not able to anticipate, that's when they try to they are not able to decide what to do and how to react to that situation. So it's all about like giving them advance notice of something. So that is true for any other human being as such.
Absolutely.
So
Somebody
like,
who is suffering from some kind of disease, or somebody who is having
even in a normal
Yeah.
culture, in normal day-to-day life, right? So if I have a certain set of meetings and somebody abruptly comes in and does something else, there is a tendency that even normal people would react to that and say that, okay, why are you disturbing me now, etc., right? It's just that these kids are also going through similar situations. The only thing is they cannot communicate. So as grown-ups we have to just observe and understand if something is making them uncomfortable. Um you may not be able to adjust. In that case, just let them be, and they'll try to adjust there, and the kid would just calm down on his own, or their parents will come and help. Okay, so that's pretty much about it.
Okay, so here we are. This is the last question. Uh, the question, it's not actually a question, it's just saying treatment for autism. So now, treatment, it depends. As I said, that the spectrum, it's a much, it's many things. It could be many things. Like a child maybe non-verbal, like my child, he's not non-verbal, but he is really having very few words and sentences which he use. For that, therapies do help. Some speech therapies, we take him to those therapy centers, and he goes through those therapies. Some might be having, some kids might be they might having some kind of other problems, which the doctors, I think they suggest some kind of medicines for them as well. So it's both, mostly it's therapy, but then for some kids it could also be some kind of medication to calm their
There could be
nerves, and
psychotic drugs that
Yeah.
can be prescribed.
yeah. So there are different, some people might use some uh, other medications, I would say some ayurvedic medicines. Some people like to use homeopathic medicines to calm their nerves, and so, but it depends, like so it depends on the problem, it depends on the spectrum. So
In our case, for example, the gut was a very important reason, and to
So
be
the
able
food,
to yeah, the
basically,
food,
yeah.
and then constipation, reducing that constipation, etc., in a kid is it takes time. It cannot be done just overnight,
Yeah.
and we have to maintain a certain kind of nutrition diet plan, and we have to be careful that he is not getting a very upset stomach. All these things actually make him more aggravated and more agitated.
Correct.
So any kind of discomfort, right, that we should try to reduce. Yes, however, as the person grows, right, they should be able to analyze their own discomforts, and they should be able to calm them down. That's the main uh, objective in the long run.
Yeah.
So these therapies, etc., these are basically to make him understand how to control their own emotions, how to understand their own feelings, and like how they can calm themselves, how they can make sure that whatever they need, they ask for it at whenever they want it, basically.
Yeah, and another thing I would like to add is, socializing. These kids, they do not get a chance to socialize. So the basic, the main motive of this particular video which we are making is to create an environment, or we are expecting to create an environment where the kid is more acceptable to everyone, okay, to the kids as well as the adults. I would say that socializing is also a kind of treatment for the kid to mix with other kids, to develop some social skills. To develop some social skills, we also need him to go and um, socialize in his own age group, and just not to stay with his parents. So I hope that this kind of discussion, if we have this in our society, I think this will help him to lead a better life, and to develop skills which we are hoping that maybe someday he will. So this is also a kind of treatment. So it's all um, related to the love, the acceptance from the society, from his friends, from everyone, not only from the parents. So, talking about treatment, this is also, I think, this can really help along with the therapies.